Thorpe, it's Monday.
I know. Sounds like a curse word. Who's excited for Monday?
Monday morning in February. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show. We're doing our best to keep you warm, keep your spirits up. Denver's top talk radio show, right, left, center debate show. We were talking about the Republican gubernatorial primary. I attended the event out in Kiowa, the We the People event in Kiowa, and a lot of Scott Bottom support, people talking about Victor Marx. Victor did his event separately.
Yeah, he did the Easter Bunny thing.
In Castle Rock.
Not there. Just a figment of your imagination.
He did a separate event, big turnout there. And then when I asked everybody about Barb Kirkmeyer, they're just like, I don't really know much about her. So it's going to be fascinating. We will be live broadcast down at the Republican Assembly in April. So we'll find out from there who's on the ballot, plus Barb Kirkmeyer petitioning on. So my guess is right now, February 2nd, 2026, you're going to have 3 people on your Republican primary ballot.
Okay. Who do you think?
Victor Marx, Barb Kirkmeyer, and Scott Bottoms.
I'd agree with that. I think that's a good reading of the tea leaves so far. Yeah, it's and I'm curious to see. I think each one of them has their own weaknesses. I won't say Achilles heel, but each one of them has their own weaknesses, and who does the best job of shoring up and protecting against those weaknesses. They're not the same for each one of them. Each one of them has a different job in front of them, and can they do it? I'm curious.
You have to hit in the assembly, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is why my brain, listeners out there, but you have to hit 30% in the assembly to get on the ballot. If you don't hit 30, you can petition on, but there's some combination of signatures plus a certain amount of votes, and then I think you could just straight up petition on without running through the assembly. I could be wrong. I don't know. Somebody that's smarter than me, call in and help me here. It's 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. And the challenge is it like changes all the time. So like when I helped Mike Kopp in the Republican Assembly in 2014, it was different than what it is now. So that's why I just can't keep track of it. But let's go to the phone lines. Karen Edgewater. Karen, you got an opinion on the Republican primary for governor.
Yeah, you've seen Marx and you've seen some of these guys. So what'd you run across this weekend?
Well, I do have an opinion. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, good. Okay. I'm not committing to who I'm going to vote for.
That's fair.
But I can tell you whom I'm leaning towards, and because I did see Victor Marx in person last week at a Jefferson County Republicans luncheon, and he is very charismatic. He's inspiring. He's personable. He's enjoyable to be around, unlike some of the other candidates.
I love you for saying that, Karen. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So now, is he qualified? You know, there was a Facebook post about this luncheon, and it's almost a week old now. And it's still active. There's still people making comments.
Oh,
it
interesting.
Just blows me away.
Yeah, what was the feeling about it at that luncheon?
Well, the people who were there liked him, you know, and then the people who weren't there said, oh, my God, he's not qualified. Did he state any of his positions? What's he going to do once he's governor? So, yes, truth be told, he didn't say, line up, I'm going to do this, and this. The only thing he said was he's going to veto bad bills, which is good. The other thing he said is he's got a strategy for working on our voter integrity rules and our gold standard of voting to make it better. But my thought for why I'm leaning towards Victor is because he can inspire Republicans and conservative, unaffiliated people to actually vote, because we have a problem.
I got a question, Karen, on that. I understand the inspiration, and it's dovetailing on a conversation that I'm having on text message right now with Joan from Lakewood, and she did the same thing. She talks about Victor being able to bring new energy, getting on the train or getting left behind, and I'm hearing that from you as well. And this is the question that I've got: where's the train going? He can inspire people to vote, but what direction are we going?
Well, here's my thought, Bill.
Yeah.
And this is what makes me absolutely crazy, is we're under single-party rule here in Colorado. The Democrats have done us no favors, so if we can just derail that, I'll be happy and try to, figure out what really needs to be done here.
No.
So no, what are his policies? I get that, and I don't know Barb Kirkmeyer, but I know she's probably way more qualified to be governor, having been in the Senate for God knows how many years. So I get that question. But if we could just get Republicans and conservatives to participate, because that's, I think, our biggest problem in this state.
Now, Karen, I can see that, and this is where I come and kind of have this consternation, or that's not the right word. Okay, this cognitive dissonance a little bit with when I see Victor Marx's campaign is I don't know what he stands for. I can't figure out any major policy positions or programs that he wants to implement in Colorado. I understand your critique of, oh my gosh, the Democrats have all these crazy ideas and we got to stop the Democrats and their crazy ideas. And in lieu of that, and to stop all that, not in lieu of it, but in order to stop all that, we have to run this guy and his policies and programs that he's going to do And that's the thing that I've come to, is that what I'm hearing is it's just enough for him not to be a Democrat. And if it is just enough for him not to be a Democrat and we're not concerned about policies or positions, pick any one of them.
I don't know.
Pick Bottoms, pick Kirkmeyer.
He's got a whole website where he talks about, performing statewide audits, strengthening whistleblower protections, requiring annual public performance reports, slashing red tape, housing cost of living, rolling back inflation, inflating mandates, jobs, taxes, economic growth, close the fee loopholes in Tabor, reduce the income tax, law and order, public safety, fully staff and equip law enforcement, and catch and release for violent offenders.
Here's the thing, though.
This is plenty of policy stuff.
You know what I'm hearing in all that? I am hearing political bromides and slogans, not policies, procedures, etc. A lot of those things are flat, open statements that allow you to read into it what you want about the specific person. And this is where I come back to is over and over and over again, I talk to people like Karen and that have gone and they've heard Victor talk, and a lot of them, he's inspiring, he's charismatic, and he's gonna, I don't know. It's a fair critique about Barb Kirkmeyer not knowing enough about her as well. But I keep coming back to the idea that it's a critique of Barb Kirkmeyer not knowing enough about her. But all the time that I hear from people who are supporters of Victor Marx, they're super excited about who he is, but they can't tell me what he's going to do. I don't know if that is anything that is going to harm him or trip him up in either the primary or the general. But that's just what, as someone that is unaffiliated, not part of either party, that's what I keep coming back to. A lot of charisma, a lot of motivation, and not a lot of details.
Here's Michael Bennett. I'm going to make affordable homes for every family.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Again, the same
Talking
thing.
about no specifics.
Oh, absolutely. The same thing. You can go down either candidate, any one of the candidates' websites and read them, and it is a bunch of general political platitudes without specifics. I am not just critiquing Victor Marx. I'm saying this is the standard for everybody. You can pick any candidate in the governor's race, and they're not going to have any strong specifics, and that's why I critique him when he's out on stage, either in his own personal appearances or avoiding the debates, because that's the time in which you can get into some of those specifics. You don't want to go deep in the weeds, but yeah.
Have you invited them to come on the show?
Yeah, he's been on
Victor's
with
been
us.
on twice.
Yeah, he's been on a couple of times so far.
Oh,
So,
well,
yeah.
did you ask me these questions?
Yeah,
we
did.
We're getting there. Yeah,
Actually,
we got there.
Billy did ask
Yeah.
a lot of these questions.
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah,
got
about
some things and
specifics.
some not. Yeah. So the other part, though, is, Karen, what do you think? Let's just jump forward, just for time machine, because we've got to get to Blake's news, and I just got to wrap up this conversation with you, and I appreciate the time and you hanging on as well. If let's fast forward, and let's assume that Victor comes out of the primary. Do you think he has a shot at defeating either Bennett or Weiser? Why not? And who's he going to do better against?
Well, I mean, that's why I like him, because he does have a shot. Because Bennett has zero personality, and as far as I'm concerned, same is true with Weiser. So he's so much more personable, and that's what politics is about. Most of the voters do not follow what's happening. I mean, they really don't. I that's kind of why I'm leaning towards him. Although, I'm sure Barb Kirkmeyer is like way more qualified, but she's very nice and she's very attractive, but she's not. I wouldn't consider her to be charismatic. She's not going to convince people to come to the poll.
Remember, our
I can see that,
country
Karen. Thanks for the call, Karen.
elected
I
an
appreciate it.
entire president based on hope.
Yeah, but then again, if it's all about personality, you're telling me that Polis was the charismatic guy that absolutely. I don't know about
Nobody
that.
knew what his
I don't know.
policies were.
But
He's
even then, when he's
socialist, he's a libertarian. Who knows?
But when but again, on par, you put Heidi Ganahl next to Polis. Heidi's got tons more charisma, much more entertaining, and a better public speaker, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's why I caution the idea that thinking that you're going to win based on Victor Marx's vibes. I think that recent history with Jared Polis can disprove that. I'm not saying it's set in stone. I'm saying can.
The debate will continue. Join the conversation by giving us a call at 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. It's Monday, 36 and cloudy as you listen to Jeff and Billy right here in Denver, expecting a high of 54 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, it's Groundhog Day, and Puxatawny Phil's annual weather prediction has been made. Phil emerged from his burrow this morning, where he was greeted by a cheering crowd and saw his shadow. Tradition holds that means 6 more weeks of winter, at least in middle America or the East Coast. About 200,000 Core Electric and XL customers lost power Sunday. They say it also impacted DIA and other systems, but all have fully recovered. Today's show host, Savannah Guthrie's mother, has gone missing in southern Arizona.
Authorities say they received a 911 call about 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie on Sunday afternoon. She was last seen at her home in Pima County the evening before. While the elderly Guthrie is described as not being in great physical health, foul play has not been ruled out. I'm Monica Nilsson.
Additional charges appear unlikely as of now in the Epstein investigation after the release of millions of files Friday by the DOJ, along with hundreds of thousands of photos and videos. AG Todd Blanche said the DOJ reviewed the files in July and determined, quote, there was nothing in there that allowed us to prosecute anybody. But it's the start of the work week, and millions of eyes are going to be on this and discover, I'm sure, more photos, videos, and emails of these evil, sickening individuals. One guy who seems to be fighting all this in Hollywood is Jelly Roll. He won a Grammy last night, and as Billy suggested, here's his speech.
First of all, Jesus, I hear you and I'm listening, Lord. I am listening, Lord. Second of all, I want to thank my beautiful wife. I would have never changed my life without you. I'd have ended up dead or in jail. I'd have killed myself if it wasn't for you and Jesus. I thank you for that. I thank you for my label, Broken Bow, Country Radio, baby. What's up, dog? Oh, Republic, John Manili, we did it, baby. There was a time in my life, y'all, that I was broken. That's why I wrote this album. I didn't think I had a chance, y'all. There was days that I thought the darkest things. I was a horrible human. There was a moment in my life that all I had was a Bible this big and a radio the same size and a 6x8 foot cell. And I believed that those two things could change my life. I believed that music had the power to change my life and God had the power to change my life. And I want to tell y'all right now, Jesus is for everybody. Jesus is not owned by one political party. Jesus is not owned by no music label. Jesus is Jesus, and anybody can have a relationship with him. I love you, Lord.
Amen.
That's
Amen.
That's at the Grammys last night on stage.
Yes.
And you hear all of that applause. People were standing during it. That, to me, was one of the highlights of the show. I appreciate you playing it last night.
Absolutely.
That was
no doubt.
fantastic.
I appreciate you telling me.
He was so emotional. He was so honest. And what I loved was all the crowd cheering. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah. I'm
And
just going to
unexpected.
pray
There you
that
go.
all of them accept Jesus
Yeah, there you
last
go.
night. Yeah, that was awesome. That's the only way to do it right there. Shed the light on it. Thank you for that, Billy. That was awesome. There's no way I was going to watch the Grammys, but I would have watched that 1 minute.
That's why I'm here for you. You know, I give you that little bonus of thing that you can deal with, and that's it. That's what I do for you.
This
That's what I
is
do here
what
for the
we
show.
bring. So Billy watches
Yeah.
the Grammys, reports back on
Yes.
it.
Exactly.
I read a 24-page governmental report from Canada on wolf displacement. I'll report on that later. This is why you pay us the big bucks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Wait,
right, man.
wait, Blake, hang on. Did Jeff just
Yeah.
say he's getting paid? I'm sorry. I gotta give me a second here. I gotta write an email to someone.
Yeah,
Hang on
that's
here,
a
'cause
little
that's
weird. I gotta look
yeah.
into that.
I'm just allowed to clean up the fridge every other week. That's
Oh,
that's the deal I
right.
got.
I mean, for 2 years, I didn't know that.
Surprised.
That,
You
that
gotta
actually
talk about it.
happens?
I know, me
Wow.
too. I didn't think that happened to radio anymore.
Jeez.
No, we gotta talk about this.
Some Coloradans demanding justice for the shooting deaths of ICE, involving ICE in Minnesota last month. Denver resident Diane says she and others are going to continue speaking out against ICE operations.
I think the more we show up, the more we show that this is not what we want in our town, in our city. This is not what we want for our neighbors.
Well, okay. Businesses shut down and some schools canceled classes on Friday because they don't put education first, evidently, and for the most part, politically on the left. All right, the federal government is partially shut down. Speaking of shut down, House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's hopeful a fix could come on Tuesday. Partial shutdown of the government. What a bore. Let's see. Oh, I got to play this. And Billy hooked me up again on this one on a Monday. Jarrell Miller.
Yes, it is so good.
Jarrell Miller is a boxer. I just looked at the video, and he has a fight, man. And he's wearing a toupee in the fight. And I give him credit because he handles it well. But wow, that is going to make the rounds on social media. That's like a cartoon.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
It is a toupee.
And he just took it up and threw it into the crowd.
Some adversity there at the top of your head.
Man, he handled it so well. Here's the interview after the fight. Oh, God, his toupee comes off, and he's got a round circle on top of his
That's
head.
what people have to understand is that he's taken off the toupee, but they had to like sew it to the little bit of hair that was left on the top of his head. So he has a little dark circle, like he's got this little dark halo around his head. Like he's taken the halo and he squeezed it down on top of his head, and the top of his head's like squeezing out the top. That's the image. It's so great.
That's what's going to bring boxing back right there. I mean, things like, here we go. Here's his interview.
So it's so funny, right? I get to my mama's house, and she had some shampoo bottles under her table. And I shampooed it. Yo, the shit was like ammonium bleach. I already lost my hair like 2 days ago. So I called my man. I said, give me the man. Let me slap that shit on real quick.
Uh-oh. You may have to believe. Oh, my
I think
goodness.
I caught it. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
If not, we're blaming you.
I think
Blake won't be here tomorrow.
Oh, my. I'm telling you, man, you need to see this video. It is incredible. So thank you, Billy,
I hope so.
bringing that to my attention.
I'm hoping. Well, Jeff caught it because I'm editing last hour's video, so the other audio. So I wasn't tuned in.
So
Yeah.
Jarrell Miller needs help from our friends at Advanced Hair Restoration.
Yes, he does.
That's what I was hoping you'd bring up. What's their number again?
720-459-HAIR. 720-459-HAIR. Don't get caught in a boxing match with a toupee. 720-459-HAIR. AdvancedHair.com. AdvancedHair.com.
Yes. Man, this is the best video I've seen in a long time. All right, the Nuggets lose 121-111 to OKC. Man, they are so good.
Like
so
Denver
good.
had the momentum in their hand on their home floor, but the shooting from the outside for OKC continues. Bullseye for SGA.
Wow, they are really difficult to beat, and the Nuggets are going to have to improve before the playoffs. And they will. Nikola Jokic returned. He had 31 on Friday. He only took 9 shots on Sunday, 121-111 the final. Red Wings in town tonight against the Avs. 35 in Lone Tree, 37 in the Springs, 36 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your 710 KNUS forecast is early Monday. A few passing clouds, temperatures in the low 30s as you start the day. Partly sunny this afternoon, highs near 60. Partly cloudy tonight, lows down to 30. Cooler for Tuesday with a chance for showers, highs in the upper 40s. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Jeff and Bill Show. Phone lines hot. Text messages hot. We're talking the Republican primary. We're going to dive into the ICE protests that took place over the weekend. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. Marcus Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, guys. You know, I'm so tired of this state with the Democrat Party, and I'm an independent. So this year, I don't care. I'm voting all Republican. I'm tired of the bridges of nowhere, the gas, no natural gas, and Jeff Bridges as treasurer. That's a joke. I mean, I've just had it with the Democratic one-party system.
Would you support Greg Lopez? He's running as an independent.
I I don't know too much about him at this point, so I'd have to look up on that, but that's my game plan. As long as it says Republican, boom, this has got to change. And I hope a lot of listeners do the same thing. Get rid of this one-party system. This gets more Republicans in there, or something that it can balance out. So that's what I'm looking at.
Marcus Aurora, appreciate the call. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Marcus's line is open, 303-696-1971. Denver Gazette reporting thousands march through Denver in second major anti-ICE protest of the weekend. Several thousand people took to the streets Saturday night, the latest in a string of national and Denver area protests throughout the weekend, calling for a stop to ICE, Immigration and Customs enforcement operations throughout the country. The protest, one of hundreds throughout the U.S., took place a day after marchers also took over La Alma Lincoln Park and other anti-ICE protests. During Friday's national shutdown, several metro school districts faced staffing woes and canceled classes or adopted alternative scheduling. We talked about that on Friday. The people who marched were protesting immigration operations, and more specifically, the deaths of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, who both have Colorado ties after they were shot by federal agents in Minnesota during enforcement operations. Good grew up in Colorado Springs. Preddy's parents currently live in Arvada. President Trump said federal authorities will not help cities where protests have erupted unless the local governments ask for help. The president added that federal buildings would be guarded. Saturday night's demonstrations began on the Capitol Green before marchers quickly turned to walk down 14th Street, drawing those who had been enjoying a sit-down dinner or a show at the Performance Arts Complex out into the streets to, in most cases, some cheered the protesters along. Brian Smith, 67, said he had heard about the protest on the news just about an hour before the demonstration began and lauded the students for showing up. A brief standoff with Denver police officers took place at the ramp near the intersection of Winecoop Street and 19th Street, but after about 5 minutes of expletives and inappropriate gestures, the groups rejoined the rest of the demonstration heading to the state capitol. Now, Mr. Thorpe, since Donald Trump has been president in either term, there's been protests. You had the women's protest with the funny pink hats.
Yeah, heard that.
We've had anti-Israel Palestinian protests, 4 days of them outside of the DNC. We've had no kings. We've had anti-Elon Musks. We've had now anti-ICE protests. I've attended just about all of them. Is this changing anybody's mind? Or is this just a cathartic effort by libs to find something else to protest? I mean, they've protested pretty much all of Trump's presidency on just a different issue. Depends on the weekend. So is this just another example of that, or is this actually changing people's minds? Your thoughts, sir?
I think it is slowly changing minds. Now, whether or not it is a result of the protests or by recent videos that we have seen, I do believe that people's minds are being changed. Part of that I point to recent polling that happened in the past week or so. Trump's about minus 18 underwater, when during his first term, he was about 12-ish underwater at this point, and Biden was under by 11. So Trump is, significantly underwater from where he was the first time. And oddly enough, one of the things that is eroding some of his base support is immigration. He has been losing support on immigration almost steadily. At one point, it was a 46% approve, 39% disapprove. We're now at 53% disapprove, 39% approve. So we went from 39% disapproving to 39% approving. That's a flip. And that's significant. So, yes, this is having an impact. I'm not going to say it's all because of the protests, and I think you're right that a lot of it is cathartic. But he's vastly underwater. And when he was elected, this and the economy were his two strongest polling numbers. Him being 39 to 46, that was one of his strongest spreads when he was first elected. And now it is flipped. That is significant.
I don't see it. Yeah, I just don't believe it. I think those polls are likely wrong, as they were regularly wrong with regards to Donald Trump. People wanted mass deportations. They continue to want mass deportations. I don't think they like the fighting that's taking place and the disruption, but I don't think they're putting all that blame on Donald Trump. I think they're looking at Tim Walz. They're looking at the corruption. They're looking at the fraud that took place in Minnesota. And to think that they're siding with those guys? Come on. Breadman texting in, the ICE protests have changed my mind. I now want them to deport everyone, including the protesters. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Brian in Arvada. Good morning, Brian. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. First, the GOP gubernatorial, I just don't think anyone has a chance just because we're fractured. Lopez, I would get behind because he's a straight shooter, wears his heart on his sleeve. Kirkmeyer, I wouldn't go for her. She's just an old establishment guard who's going to try to moderate and get killed like Heidi Ganahl. And Dick, what not to do Wadhams, doesn't like anybody but her. So vote for anyone that Dick tells you not to vote for. Vote for them because he's an old guard that needs to get out of the way too. But we're just fractured as a GOP. We're not going to win. And it sucks because if we could just coalesce around one person, not an old guard, whether it's Marx or Bottoms, I think they have a decent shot, but I still don't. I think we can make it close within 10 points, but that's about it. And you know what? I went to one of these rallies or these protests, call them a protest, but we were going to a King Soopers out of the way. And because we were in Westminster, and here we are, and I'm in the parking lot of King Soopers in 80th and Wadsworth, and here's this, peaceful protest. I hate ICE, F Trump, all this stuff. And I'm like, I told my wife, I'm going to get out, and I just want to look at it. She's like, don't get. I'm like, I'm not. I'm just going to walk over there. I just walk over there, right? And I'm just standing there, and I'm just looking at these people, and I'm thinking they're not moving the needle. Half the people driving by were like thumbs down, honking thumbs down, booing. The other half were driving by honking, cheering. So I couldn't tell the people driving by. Half of them were like thumbs down, booing them, and the other half were cheering them. So they're not moving the needle at all. I told my wife, these people aren't moving the ball. They're not moving the needle. They're not doing anything but making themselves feel better.
Then, Brian, what is the reason that we are seeing Donald Trump's approval ratings on immigration erode? Do you think it has to do with, again, it doesn't sound like you say the protests. Is it the recent videos of the shootings, or is it something else? Why do you think it's happening?
I think it's the lies of the Democrats and the media that's moving the needle for independence. Because then I go home and I turn on Channel 7 News. It just came on after the golf tournament. And they say, many gathered on 80th and Wadsworth to celebrate the life of the victims. And I didn't see no candles. I didn't see no nothing. I didn't see any of that. So, and I looked all on both sides. They weren't but there's the news saying they're celebrating the life. And all you see is F Trump, F ICE signs. And that's not inspiring. An upside down American flag isn't going to inspire me. And it's not inspiring independence. I'm telling you. But the news saying that they're out there doing something different, that moves the needle. So it's all on lies. It's lies that move the needle, Billy, which is so sad because those independents are uninformed. Look at all the people that have been 6,000 people deported in Minnesota. And look at their rap sheet. Murderers, child molesters, rapists, tattooed gang members, drug dealers.
But Brian, that's not all the 6,000.
But
that's
we
part
care
of the issue.
about three people, a 5-year-old, an 80-year-old.
But Brian, that's the critique. Brian,
and 3 people got
Brian,
shot.
The critique, though, is that of that 6,000, what percentage of them are those murderers and rapists?
70.
So far, we've seen about 20 to 30% at most.
No, 70.
No,
that's not
the majority
what's
is
shown.
Fox News showed the rap sheet of these people, Billy, and the majority of these people are gangsters, rapists, they have a rap sheet. They're criminals.
Okay, Brian,
They're
I will
hurting
go and look.
society.
I haven't seen anything that backs that up. Everything that I have seen from multiple sources shows that around 70 to 75% of the people that have been detained have no outstanding criminal arrests or warrants that make them violent criminals, and the majority of that group, the original offense is crossing the border illegally. And that's kind of the issue that I think is hurting Donald Trump.
I think that's the narrative that's not true. I think that's the narrative that's not true. Because Trump said he was going to get the bad guys out first. And now the narrative is, oh, he's not getting the bad guys out. I think that's false. I think they're targeting the murderers and the rapists. And, there's going to be collateral damage. But to get tell Brian, the victims, the parents of these victims that you care more about some protester that shouldn't have been there and died tragically, shouldn't have died, but you care more about that person than you care about their daughters getting murdered, raped, children getting sex trafficked, drugs being sold. I care more about that, Billy, and it's sad that you don't. And it's sad that other people don't care more about the murderers getting out of here.
That's absolutely adorable that you've ascribed motivation to me. That's absolutely adorable that you've ascribed motivation. You believe that I don't care about that. The issue is,
it's just sad.
Brian, no, it's just sad. It's sad that the idea, and thanks for the phone call, is the idea that you come in here and you say that whatever's being done with the media because it disagrees with you, that's obviously just a lie. So media lie, I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to believe it. And then I'm just going to do something else. I mean, you just discount. You don't actually deal with what's going on inside of the real world. I'm sorry. I haven't seen. I will go and look for your statements about who has been arrested and why. I haven't seen any of that backed up. But yet when I bring those statements to you, you just say, well, they're lies. That's it. It's super easy to just discount something that counteracts what's happening with your world.
Nome regularly goes on the Sunday shows and discusses that 70% of those that have been picked up by ICE either have a criminal history or pending charges, either in this country or in the country that they fled.
How is she defining criminal history?
How
is she defining criminal history?
So they have. I mean, are you talking about nonviolent, like a parking ticket or something?
What I'm saying is crossing the border is in some cases a criminal act, even though we charge it.
It definitely
civilly.
is a criminal act.
So if she's saying criminal, everybody who crosses the border would then have that criminal.
Yeah, but she wouldn't be saying 70% then. All right.
Yeah, she would.
No, she would be saying 100%.
No, because some of them could be denied asylum and be deported. So, yeah, you can get to that number. Absolutely.
Her comments are previous criminal histories or pending charges, either in this country or other countries.
Yeah, and
that seems to be different than just crossing the border.
Well, but that also could apply to people that are here for asylum. And remember, this is the same Christine Nome that said that that people that were protesting ICE were driving their cars into individuals, and there are a whole bunch of things that Christine Nome has said recently that aren't necessarily true. So I am going to go and verify what she says.
That's just a poisoning the well fallacy.
No, it's not. No, Jeff. No,
you just go.
Stop.
She's lied about other things. She's lying about this.
Hang on a sec. That is not a poisoning the well fallacy. Poisoning the well fallacy is degrading the individual person, saying because they're a horrible person, I can't believe them. Because the person is a fountain of misinformation, it is absolutely logical to question what they are doing. Poisoning the well has to do with degrading the information coming from a person because you say they're a bad person. It has zero impact on what they have said in the past. What they said in the past is absolutely applicable to things they say in the future. It's different.
No, you're just ignoring the actual claim. All right, let's talk black-eyed pea of Colorado.
Poisoning the well. That is exactly what it is.
Locally owned and run by Stephen Michelle. That's important to me. Locally owned and operated. My whole family loves this restaurant. Yours will as well. Now with 9 locations, there's sure to be one near you. They've recently opened at Fort Collins. It's an absolutely stunning restaurant. Visit them at 807 East Harmony Road. This is the restaurant you want to take your entire family to. Keep it in Colorado. These are people I'm proudly supporting. You can too. Take everyone out to eat at the Black Eyed Pea. Home-style cooking worth going out for. They make everything from scratch: ranch-style pork chops, mushroom Swiss chicken, ribeye steak, St. Louis ribs, the mile-high meatloaf. They've got daily specials and senior discounts. The Black Eyed Pea has what your family is hungry for. The Black Eyed Pea also does catering. Your dinner party, rehearsal dinner, wedding reception, or company event will be a success when you look to the Black Eyed Pea. Hear me on this. I love everything about this restaurant. Visit the Black Eyed Pea near you. BlackEyedPeaColorado.com. All right. Phone lines jam-packed. Text messages super hot. Question to you all. Are the ICE protests changing anything? The anti-ICE protests. Are they changing anybody's mind? I don't see it. To me, the left has been regularly protesting just about everything Donald Trump has done. Remember that the DOJ cuts to waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government also brought out protests. Went out and those people were screaming, Elon Musk is going to destroy everything. And then they went out and protested Trump, anti-women protest with the funny hats. Now they're protesting ICE. They've protested Jews. They've just constantly protesting everything. Is ICE just another example of that? Or are they changing the politics and swaying people against Donald Trump? Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. We'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Thousands march through Denver in second major anti-ICE protest of the weekend. Friday, Saturday. Is it changing anybody's minds? Brad from Parker saying if the government wanted to end undocumented immigration, they'd arrest the CEOs who hire them, yet they don't. Joan from Lakewood. Protests are just Democrat rallies. We have a leader to rally around. They don't. Interesting. Let's go to the phone lines. Mary in Wyoming. Good morning, Mary. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, guys. My frustration has always been is the messaging. Yes, they read the like the warrant, and what's being done with them. You need to have a face attached to it. We need to have. You've interviewed victims, you know what I mean, and because like I said, when you talk about sex trafficking. What about a victim's mother on there talking about what happened to him? We need something more physical. Excuse me. Than what is currently provided. Their messaging sucks.
I don't blame you. They do have a website called wow.dh.gov where you can go to your state. Here we have 25 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 people per page, 25 pages just of the worst that were arrested here in Colorado. Sexual exploitation of a child up in Weld County. Burglary, Inglewood County. Driving under the influence, Aurora, weapons offenses and dangerous weapons, Denver. I mean, you can go to wow.dhs.gov and just see all the people.
That's why my point about messaging. We need to have it where independents and Democrats see it. I mean, we know, like I said, I'm behind supporting ICE. But like I said, that's because, like I said, I know about what has been going on. The independents out there need to be educated. We need to have and since you have a hostile media, which will not give us the airtime, then they need to pay for some half-an-hour program where this information is publicized so that the public gets to see it and hear it.
Yep, Mary, Wyoming, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Mary's line will be open, 303-696-1971. All right, we'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. A weekend of protests against ICE in Denver, across Colorado, across the nation. Is it actually changing anything? Is it moving the needle against Donald Trump and the Republicans, or is this just another example of Democrats getting out there and protesting? It's what they do. They did it against the Jews with the Palestinians. They've done it with the Women's March. They did it against Doge and Elon Musk. Now they're doing it against ICE. Let's go to the phone lines. Dean in Denver. Good morning, Dean. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Hey, good morning, guys. I have to be kind of quick here because I have to jump out of my car. I'm a Trump supporter, and I currently don't like this immigration situation. First of all, I mean, I have mixed feelings. I mean, first of all, according to Google AI, Obama deported over 3 million people, and I don't remember seeing any of this madness. So I guess Democrat deportations are okay, and Republican deportations are racist. But besides that, no, I don't agree with this immigration situation. I think it's being handled terribly. What I would have done, and I think Donald Trump could have become the most popular president in U.S. history if he would have played this correctly. Personally, what I would have done is first I would have sealed the border completely, which apparently has been done. That's good. But then what I would have done is I would have removed what we're doing. We're removing the criminals. You know, you got felonies, you got domestic abuse, you got DUI, stuff like that. You got to go. But for the people who have been living here for an arbitrary amount of years, living their lives, working, staying out of trouble, I would have extended a hand and I would have offered a deal to those people. And by doing that, he could have gained support by independents and Democrats and possibly become the most popular president in history.
Dean,
and that's all I have to say.
Is that any different than amnesty, though?
Well, I wouldn't offer amnesty, but I would have offered some type of pathway to people who have been here for an arbitrary amount of years. I would have offered them some type of pathway, yes.
To me, that seems like de facto amnesty. It's what Reagan did in the 80s and 90s, and it just encouraged people to come here, just keep your head down, keep quiet, and eventually somebody will give you amnesty.
I completely understand, but you have to understand one thing, okay? These people have done everything from wash our dishes to build our homes over the last 50 years. We intentionally left our door open to have these people serve us, and now we just want to deport every single one of them? No, that's not possible.
I know, Dean, but I think that there's a cost associated with them that's brought in when we're educating, providing health care. It's helped drive up the deficit, the cost of living that we're all dealing with right now.
I understand that.
And Dean, their first decision when it came to becoming an American was to flagrantly, good night, break our law here. And cross the border.
Bill, I understand completely, and I am on your side generally. I am a conservative, and I support Donald Trump. But man, you cannot just invite these people here with open arms, and then one day say, "Oh, we changed our mind. You're out." It ain't going to work, man.
Dean, Denver, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right, let's talk Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis, the son of a police officer and a former seminarian, he's dedicated 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan Caplis Law, a serious firm for serious cases. He accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So give him a call, 303-770-5551. Dan Caplis Law, 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S Law.com. We will continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.